Lighting is a key element of any great video, and sometimes you want to spice it up a little bit and add some color. This is the Zhiyun M20C. Zhiyun. In this video, I'm going to be taking a closer look at everything this light has to offer. Full disclosure, this video isn't sponsored, but they did send it to me, and I wouldn't have accepted it if I didn't think it looked good. So first of all, I wanted to go over the design and the build quality of it. It has a very interesting, unique look to it. It doesn't look like other RGB lights on the market, like aperture lights and stuff like that. So I would say it actually does look pretty cool. I actually think the build quality is amazing. Like, compared to a lot of other lights, it does not feel cheap at all. It feels very sturdy, so you don't have to worry about it breaking, or it's just nice to have something that doesn't feel cheap. Also, the controls on it are these knobs, and you can actually click onto them, so they're buttons too. Those feel really nice, and I think that's a great way to control an RGB light. So it actually comes with some accessories. It comes with barn doors, so you can kind of like point the light in a specific direction and not have it spill everywhere. And it also has a normal diffuser for the light and a honeycomb grid, so that way the light will not get on the background as much and only on the subject. All these accessories magnetically attach to it, and the magnets are pretty strong. Also, there's a way for you to attach the light to more things. It comes with a cage that has cold shoe mounts on all of the sides of it. It also has a standard tripod thread on the bottom. Alright, so now I'm going to go on to the brightness. You can see right there. It's pretty bright, especially compared to my old RGB light I was using. It was like a $23 Amazon one. It was pretty decent, but it was not very bright at all. The difference is actually insane. Like, you don't have to worry about this light not being bright enough for certain situations. Of course, it's not like a massive softbox light, but it is a 20-watt light, so it's very bright. And it's not only an RGB light, it's also a normal light, so the color temperature ranges from 2500 to 10,000 Kelvin, so you can have it really warm or really cool depending on what you need it for. You can actually choose how saturated you want the light to be. Say you have it on orange, you can just turn the saturation down so it's less so than normal, or really any color, it doesn't matter. And this isn't brightness or even the color of the light, it's just the saturation of the color. It also has different effects like candlelight, police car, fireworks, and a bunch of other ones. So I don't really know where I would use that, but it's still pretty cool. And a really interesting part of the light is it has a music mode. So it takes in sound and it then makes the light flash to the sound. And you can change the color of the light and different settings in the music mode just so you can customize it to the way you want it. And actually, you can change a lot of these features I'm mentioning through the Zhiyun app. So for a lot of people, they need an app to be able to control their light if it's in a difficult situation to reach. But for me, I personally don't even really need an app because I'm always using it right next to me. But it's still cool that it has an app. So I actually decided to take this next segment of the video to talk about some things I didn't mention in the video. Not necessarily things I needed to include, but just things that maybe you guys would want to know about. So the first thing is that I'm actually building an email list. I don't exactly know what I'm going to use it for yet, but you might as well go sign up. The link will be in the description. I thought I might as well build one just in case like YouTube takes my channel down. I could send out emails to people telling me where my new channel would be at or something like that. So now I'm going to get into some of the other things that I was going to mention in this segment of the video. So the first thing I want to mention is the light is actually magnetic. It's on the back of the cage. There are these two pads and those are actually magnets. One thing you do need to note though is it's only on the cage. So without the cage, the light isn't magnetic at all. It's only in the cage that you will be able to stick it to magnetic surfaces. So now I wanted to go into detail a little bit more about the app and all the features it has, because it actually has some things that I think are really cool and unique. So when you go into the app, you can select whichever light you want to use, and if you only have one, then just select it. Alright, so I'm gonna click the Zhiyun 5-ray M20C right here. And this is the page it opens up to. You have control over things like the brightness right here. You have control of the color temperature right here, which I could make it cool or I can make it warm. And also it gives you a bunch of control with these presets for color temperature, like if you want it to be daytime, or you could turn it to something else. It really doesn't matter, you have full control. So now I'm going to move on to the next thing on the bottom, which is this gel thing. You can select which gel you'd want it to be, and this is basically just presets of things you'd want your light to mimic. Now, this next feature is the pair feature, which allows you to pair your light with another light. So say you have multiple of these lights, and you want both of them to be the same color, then that would be a great feature, because if you are on a set and you need all the lights to be the exact same color, that's amazing. I don't think I'm ever going to use that though, because I'm not going to get more than one light, but that's still a very awesome feature. Then of course there's the main color changing tool, where you can drag around this and change the color of the light to whatever you want it to be. Also in this section you have control over the brightness as well. And also you can turn the light on and off with that power button in the corner. Now I'm going to move on to one of my favorite features about the app that I think is really cool. If you select this picker tool right here, you can point the camera at an object in the room and select it, and then change the color of the light to that. I'm going to show you an example of this real quick. So a great example of a way you could use this color selection feature is if I was, say, filming this prime bottle right here, but I didn't want the light to be green, I wanted it to be the color of the bottle. I would click the color picker tool in the app, and then I would point the camera at it and select it, and now the light is the color of the bottle. I think that's actually super cool for a lot of different reasons, but product photography and videography is a big one. Definitely something I might use in the future. And once I'm in there, it lets me change the brightness and even other things about it like the saturation, but I'm not really going to show those right now because I think you get the idea. And it's very convenient to charge. It charges with USB Type-C, so you're not going to worry about having this weird, wacky, different charger just for the light. So I've said a lot of good things about the light so far, but now I'm actually going to get into some of the bad things, or things that I think could be improved about the light. I don't even know if this one can be possibly improved, but it's that it has a fan on the back. As I just said, I don't know if it's possible to get rid of this, but it is actually decently loud when it's been on for a while on 100% brightness, but the fan doesn't turn on all the time, only when it's on a really bright setting. Okay, so now this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but spending money is always technically a loss, so I have to talk about the price. It's $129 without the combo kit with all the accessories, and then it's more than $129 if you want to add on the accessories. And considering that a bunch of other big brands like Aperture charge a ton of money for their lights, I think that the price is very reasonable. So would I recommend it? Depends if you need it. If you have a cheap Amazon light and you want to upgrade, then sure, go ahead. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend getting it if you don't see a use for it. But small lights do come in handy sometimes. I will have the link to this light down in the description if you want to check it out. Thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.